Hey, welcome to another episode of the Rob Report. I'm your host, Robert Bob TV Brown. Before we get into the segment, by the end of this video, I want you to do a few things for me. First of all, if you like the video, hit the like button. Please do. If you don't like it, hit unlike. It's okay. Make sure you are subscribed to this channel. Sometimes, as Jimmy Dole would say, you find yourself unsubscribed and you need to make sure that you subscribe to this channel. Hit the notification bell right next to it so you can be notified when a new video is being dropped. Whoop, there it is. And more importantly, the super chat will be on for this segment. So if you want to donate toward the efforts of Bob TV, that's freely up to you. I do have a job, but any amount will help toward the growth of this channel. And more important, let us help you help us by introducing you to a program. There's a link down below that says Equal Justice for All. You're going to click that video link and there's some educational tutorial about a phenomenal program in America that is really making equal justice a reality for every citizen. So this program is phenomenal. The proceeds from you participating in the program will go back, 10% will go back into the Bob TV YouTube channel. So anyway, my name is Robert Brown with the Rob Report. Let's get into it. Hey, good day. Welcome to another episode of Rob Report. I'm your humble host, Robert Bob TV Brown. How you doing today? We're going to get into some serious matters today because all over the news this last week, after Kamala Harris dropped out of the race, the news media began to get sad and upset and hurt. And, and I can't believe, I blame it on the DNC. I blame it on the rain. I blame it on the cocaine. I blame it on everything but Kamala Harris. You got to understand this. What killed Kamala Harris' campaign? What was the first dagger in the back? Her own dagger in the back. We're going to do this as a special Rob Report. Who killed the Kamala Harris campaign? It's just like who shot Ghost or who shot JR. Who killed the Kamala Harris campaign? We're going to get into that today because we need to really focus on that. Because they're blaming the black community, they're blaming everybody on the sun, and they're just trying to make you feel bad because there's no black in the race, or make you feel bad because there's no women in the race. So they're trying to use identity politics, Roland Martin, to shame people because they went by to Obama. Well, first of all, she wasn't Obama. She may be interracial like Obama. She may have the complexion of Obama, but she ain't Obama. Obama had a special skill sets of communication that can kind of weave people into a web. He was Mr. Smooth. Kamala Harris is not Mrs. Smooth. But we're going to go into this today because there's certain things that Kamala Harris did herself that killed her campaign. Let's look at the first one.
You have also been quite critical of Vice President Biden's policies on race, specifically on the issue of busing in the 1970s, having benefited from busing when you were a young child. Vice President Biden says that your current position on busing, you're opposed to federally mandated busing, that position is the same as his position. Is he right?
That is simply false. And let's be very clear about this. When Vice President Biden was in the United States.
All right, so the first thing she did is try to pretend like you super tough cop. She's going to try to show herself to be able to stand up against everybody by standing up against Joe Biden. That's absolutely false. Let's be really clear on that. My position on busing was not the same as Joe Biden. Now, Joe Biden, he don't like these racial, he do not like it when we get to his voting record, tout it as racial disparity. He don't like us calling his record a racist record or a white supremacist record. He don't like that. So when they bring up things like this on stage, you can see the look in his face. And now look at him handling Kamala. Now, Kamala going to try to act like she's Miss Tough Black America going after white America with this. The problem is you can't be Miss Tough Black America going against white America And I hate to say it, when you're half Indian, 25% Scotch-Irish yourself, and 25% Jamaican. And you're married to a white guy. That shouldn't matter, but you can't go after the white guy when you're married to the white guy. so, let's keep going. Nothing wrong with being married to a white guy. I don't prefer it. You never see me marry a white guy or any guy. But hey, to each his own.
The State Senate working with segregationists to oppose busing, which was the vehicle by which we would integrate America's public schools. Had I been in the United States Senate at that time, I would have been completely on the other side of the aisle. And let's be clear about this. Had those segregationists their way, I would not be a member of the United States Senate. Cory Booker would not be a member.
Would you have been on the right side? Because your record as prosecutor and your record as DA and your record as a public servant, an attorney general, have not been on the right side. Matter of fact, you're being on the side of white supremacists throughout your whole record, Kamala Harris, and that's the reason why her campaign didn't take off. People looked into your record and find out that you were more on the right, like a Republican, right along with Joe Biden. You took Joe Biden's crime bill. That's why you guys belong together. And God forbid, please, America, please, Joe Biden will pick this woman as his VP, and you got one of the toughest law enforcement candidates on the face of this earth. You talking about Trump. You talking about somebody who took policy, one who created racist policies and one who instituted and acted out racist policies as prosecutor, district attorney. Come on now.
The United States Senate, and Barack Obama would not have been in a position to nominate him to the title he now holds. And so on that issue, we could not be more apart, which is that the vice president has still failed to acknowledge that it was wrong to take the position that he took at that time. Now, I would like to also talk about this conversation about Eric Gardner, because I too met with his mother. And one of the things that we've got to be clear about is that this president of the United States...
All right, let's make it clear. What would they do? I've met with Eric Gardner's mother. Me, little Rob of the Rob Report, Bob TV. I've met with Eric Gardner's family. I've sat with Eric Gardner and his entire family at the TWE. The family is TWU, so they had a special ceremony for Eric Gardner and his family. I was there at that ceremony, got a chance to eat and chop it up with them. That don't mean that I was going to do something great for black people. So you tell them that, oh, I met with Eric Gardner's mother. Whoop-de-doo. That don't mean nothing. That don't mean you're challenging change in America because you met with somebody. Mama, get out of here with that stuff.
Donald Trump, while he has been in office, has quietly been allowing the United States Department of Justice to shut down consent decrees, to stop pattern and practice investigations. On that case, we also know that the Civil Rights Division, this is important, the Civil Rights...
All right, let's go back. She's accusing Donald Trump, and she has a right to accuse him if she have not done the same thing herself. But let's go back to that.
Investigations. On that case, we also know that what to be clear about is that this president of the United States, Donald Trump, while he has been in office, has quietly been allowing the United States Department of Justice to shut down consent decrees, to stop pattern and practice investigations. On that...
Hold up. Whoa. Wait. Hold up. As Attorney General, you shot down investigation. You've done the same thing Donald Trump has done. And you guys are wondering why she had to quit her campaign? Because people found out this stuff and they stopped getting bad enough. The DNC is hurting for money. But now if the candidates are not getting money from the DNC, the candidates got to raise their own money. She got the nerve to talk about what Donald Trump has done, and he has done it. I agree with her. But she can't talk. She done the same doggone thing as prosecutor.
case, we also know that the
Thank you,
Civil
Senator.
Rights Division, this is important, the Civil Rights Division of the United States Department of Justice said charges should have been filed, but this United States Department of Justice usurped, and I believe it is because that president did not want those charges to go forward, and they overrode a decision by the Civil Rights Division of the United
Thank you,
States
Senator.
Department of Justice. Under my administration, the Civil
Thank you,
Rights
Senator.
Division will reign, and there will be independent investigations.
Vice President Biden, I want to give you a chance.
So here we got old Kamala Harris trying to talk tough cop and about what she's going to do, and the Civil Rights Division is going to reign. Civil Rights Division didn't reign in your case when you were Attorney General. No, where was the Civil Rights Division? So did you let them have they say when it came to prosecuting minorities when it come to home ownership with Steve Mnuchin? Did they reign? No, the only civil rights that reign or will ever reign in any of your time as a political leader is your personal rights. That's not all that's civil.
To respond to what Senator Harris just said.
When Senator Harris was the Attorney General for 8 years in the state of California, there were two of the most segregated school districts in the country, in Los Angeles and in San Francisco. And she did not, I didn't see a single solitary time she brought a case against them to desegregate them. Secondly, she also is in a situation where she had a police department.
That is true. Joe Biden is right on that. As the Attorney General, there were a lot of segregation going on up to her time that she left to go to the Senate. And she talking civil rights and making change in those areas and make it easier to go to schools and things like that. If you didn't do it back then, girl, what make you think you're going to do that now? What you do today determines what you'll do tomorrow. So Joe's right on that. Here we got Kamala Harris lying about what she would do, and she didn't do it while she was prosecutor. And she probably didn't push it as senator, but yet she's saying she's going to do it as president.
When she was there, that in fact was abusing people's rights. And the fact was that she, in fact, was told by her own people, that her own staff, that she should do something about and disclose to defense attorneys like me that you, in fact, have been, the police officer did something that did not give you information that would exculpate your client.
This is how Joe Biden is going to go down, because he keep talking about how he was a great defense attorney, but yet he come up with the hardest prosecuting bill in American history, so hard that Kamala Harris enjoyed every bit of it, and she instituted in her own policies. So you're talking about a white supremacist to the core that's trying to be on the down low. He just don't want to look as white. See, Trump is white supremacist all in your face, all up in your gut. Joe Biden is that down low white supremacist racist that got a lot of black people for friends and try to surround himself around black to go incognito like he really don't. Anyway, let me keep going. Like he really don't gravitate. He is more hard on people of color than anybody. Anybody. He just won't show it. But deep down on the inside, he will support it. Deep down on the inside, when somebody Latino saying, look, I'm afraid that he's going to deport us, and what would you do? And you sit there and say, I wouldn't stop him from deporting you. If you're here illegally, you're gone. You're going to be out of here. Joe Biden said that to the lady. Well, you need to just vote for Trump. So you got these two people, one closet white supremacist, one is that bootlick that always hang with the white supremacists, Mr. Kenny and Miss Steven right here. These two guys might be the nominee for vice president and president. I'm stopping here for a reason, man. Because you got the man who proudly says, that's my baby, my greatest bill I ever moved, pushed, and had signed. was the crime bill. Yeah, mandatory minimums, lock up black people like crazy, get them off the streets because they're gonna crack my mama upside the head and steal her pocketbook. We got to get them off the street. These they're horrible, and we don't care what kind of background they came from. You got that Joe Biden, racist Joe, and then you got Kamala Harris saying, look, I need to be more like Joe. Whatever Joe implemented in that plan, I'm going to put it to work in California. Heck, I go even further. If your child is not going to school, if they're not showing up for attendance, I'm throwing the mama in jail. Let me keep going.
She didn't do that. She never did it. And so what happened? Along came a federal judge and said, enough, enough, and he freed 1,000 of these people. If you doubt me, Google 1,000 prisoners freed, Kamala Harris.
Thank you, Vice President Biden. And Senator Harris, your response?
Now let's see how she responds. We're talking about things that sunk her campaign. Here we got on the debate stage people addressing her record. It is not bad. It's not evil. It's not divisive to address your record. Now, if I just make up stuff about you, if I just lie on you, that's different. But we're talking about addressing people's record where you can go look at the record. And one of the things that killed Kamala Harris' campaign is because when the young lady that you see next exposed her record on stage as well as Joe Biden, of course, the electorate is going to go and see if those things are true. That's the whole point of a debate, is to get it all on the table. Debate you on the issue, but I'm going to debate you on the record. My record, your record is debatable. She got debated on her record. People investigated. Therefore, she started going downhill from there. Now, these are indisputable facts, yet she's given an opportunity to explain herself, and she felt misery. So, number one, your record killed you. Number two, your ability to defend your record killed you even worse. Now, watch how she tries to go back on Joe Biden in defense of her not letting these prisoners go because she didn't want to mess up this. She didn't want to shock the system, the justice system that she so-called developed. And she needed these people to go out and fight forest fires for pennies on a dollar, risking their life. And if you got a whole bunch of them released from jail and back on the streets, who's going to fight these fires? Who's going to go out here and build these roads and stuff like that for free where we don't have to spend our money? Who's going to be on the road gang or the chain gang, as they used to say it back in the day, when you're freeing up thousands of prisoners all in one shot? Well, let's keep going. We're talking about things that sunk the Kamala Harris campaign. This is number one right now. Calling you out on your record and your lack of defense for your record.
This is simply not true. And as Attorney General of California,
she actually thinks saying this is simply not true is automatically going to erase it and make it not true. Baby girl, we got your record. Records don't lie. They say numbers don't lie. Your record don't lie. Now, I'm not a Joe Biden fan, and I think dude is losing it. And his cognitive issues, you had your chance, Joe. It's over. Right now, if you won, I will be more nervous about you than Trump because, number one, I know who you are when you get a little power. Right now, you ain't got no power. But I know how you could be when you get some power. And if you got presidential powers, you'll be just as bad as Trump making dumb decisions because you're really a Republican. You're a lightweight Senate Republican. Where the Republicans used to be, that's where you are right now. Kamala is not far from that. I'm not a fan of Joe. But you're looking at these two people right now, they might team up together and be running mates. Kamala might go on a stump for Joe. Joe already got, what's his name? His name, I forget. I think he married to the lady who owns the Heinz ketchup. John Kerry. John Kerry endorsed Joe Biden. Whoop-de-doo. Of course you're going to endorse Joe Biden, John Kerry. You was Obama's Secretary of State. Obama probably already working on everybody on his cabinet to endorse you, and eventually he's going to endorse you too because they're trying to do whatever he don't want his legacy being trumped up, no pun intended, by Bernie Sanders. Because I will admit to the fact that if Bernie Sanders do become president, he has the ability to trump Obama's record. Let's keep going.
Ran the second largest Department of Justice in the United States, second only to the United States Department of Justice. I am proud of the work we did, work that has received national recognition for what has been the important work of reforming a criminal justice system and cleaning up the consequences of the bills that you passed when you were in the United States Senate for decades.
Clean up? You didn't clean up, girl. You add more doo-doo to the doo-doo. Joe Biden has the doo-doo of a prosecutor criminal legislation that he's pushing. You just added more doo-doo on top of the doo-doo. That's worse, man. Bad enough, man. You go in the bathroom and toilet's not working. It's doo-doo there. Who wants this doo-doo on top of doo-doo? Flush the toilet first, then doo-doo. You didn't even do that. You doo-dooed on top of Joe Biden's doo-doo, Kamala Harris. That's why y'all make a fine prosecutor team for those who want to prosecute people in this country. Let's go back to what she said, because this is important. This is a special Rob report on what killed Kamala Harris' campaign. This is number one, your record and your inability to defend your record.
California, where I ran the second largest Department of Justice. This is simply not true.
Simply true. Now she's going to go into, I ran the biggest this, I ran the biggest that. Yeah, you still ran in the ground. This lady, she just makes me laugh, man. She makes me laugh because saying that you ran something and it was the biggest don't mean you ran it good.
And as Attorney General of California, where I ran the second largest Department of Justice in the United States, second only to the United States Department of Justice.
I run the second biggest, largest Department of Justice in America, and that's the California State Department of Justice. I was the Attorney General there. Whoop-de-doo. That makes you qualified, right? Not if you didn't have a good record, girl.
I am proud of the work we did.
She's proud of the work she did. Sound just like Joe Biden. I'm proud of the crime bill. I'm proud of the work I did. I'm proud of the work I did here, there. I'm proud of the work of she sounds just like him. She is nothing. Everybody looked at her as the female Obama. Nowhere near that. She's more like the female Joe Biden. She's proud of her horrible record as a prosecutor dealing with crime. Joe Biden is proud of that horrible crime bill that was so detrimental to the black and brown community, accusing us of all kind of crime just to get federal funding.
Work that has received national recognition for what has been the important work of reform.
She said her work got national recognition. Who? Who recognized that horrible work you did? And who? Was it somebody that recognized you for the good you were doing for the community through your time as Attorney General, or for what you did for the crime community, or what you did for law enforcement community? Who?
A criminal justice system and cleaning up the consequences of the bills that you passed when you were in the United States Senate for decades. It was the work of creating one of the first in the nation initiatives around re-entering former offenders and getting them jobs and counseling.
Thank you, Senator.
I did the work as Attorney General of putting body cameras on special agents in the state of California.
Now let's stop there. She says she did the work of putting body cameras on special agents. She did not do the work of putting body cameras on law enforcement officers in general. I think everybody that work in law enforcement should have a camera on. And I think everybody should be able to have a website to see what they do while they're at work. Once they get off of work, take it off, go home, you don't see all that. But if you're on the clock and you're a law enforcement officer, all of America should be able to see into your life and day as Chief Joe Jackson or Sheriff Joe Clark, or everybody should be able to hear and see what you're doing.
And I'm proud of that work.
I want to bring in Congresswoman.
And she's proud of that work. Now here comes the gladiator. Now I got my issues with Tulsi Gabbard. And you know my issues. But here come warrior Princess Xena herself. You know, a couple things I like about Tulsi. But there's some things that will not allow me to vote for Tulsi. You guys vote for whoever you want to vote. That's your choice. I'm telling black people that if they're not going to have something, if they don't have a black agenda, and this is your time to strike while the iron is hot, you got to be on the front lines of forcing them to get a black agenda. They should have one anyway, because they supposed to care about us and love us, and they should supposed to say, this is what I'm willing to do for this community who has held up the Democratic Party for 20, 30, 40, 50 years and have not gotten anything in return. This community that invested time, energy, resource, and money, and sometimes their life for this party, yet they got nothing in return. This is what I'm going to do for you. But let's hear her, the debate slayer, the presidential candidate slayer herself, Tulsi Gabbard. She immediately exposes more of that record. Joe Biden talked about the 1,000 people that she refused to let go because she needed them to fight in those forest fires. Plus, the judge had to release them. She didn't even address that, right? All she talked about is her credibility, and that's a lie. She didn't address the issue. She didn't answer the question. She blew it all. Now here comes the beast slayer, Tulsi Gabbard.
Congresswoman Gabbard, you took issue with Senator Harris confronting Vice President Biden at the last debate. You called it a, quote, false accusation that Joe Biden is a racist. What's your response?
I want to bring the conversation.
Now, this is where I got my problem with Tulsi.
Accusation that Joe Biden is a racist. What's your response?
Now, I got a problem with Tulsi not addressing that. How do you know he's not a racist, Tulsi? I got people say you're a racist because you don't support cash payments for reparations. You only support a study. I got some people who telling me, look, I got some people who say you're a racist because you won't even answer their questions when it comes to talking about black issues, that you're always on the go. I got people who telling me that you don't spend time in the black community and understand the needs of the black community. I got people telling me that you think you know what the black community need, and you'd rather enact that into policy than listen to the black community and for them to tell you their most urgent needs. But that's not just you. That's Bernie Sanders, all of them. Everybody got a plan, their plan for the black community, not the plan from the black community. But I'm not just picking on you, Tulsi. Same thing with Kamala Harris, Joe, all of them. Everybody on that stage don't have a concrete plan to lift up the black community out of this issue concerning the wealth gap. And we telling you on the way to close is provide reparations in the form of cash payments, not investment in the black community. And Kamala Harris with her own loans program. We don't want no loans, girl. Don't give me no loan. Give us what belongs to us. I got a problem with Joe Biden. I believe Joe Biden is a racist. I believe he's on the down low. I believe he's a closet racist. And the closet racist loves to surround himself around black people, to thinking that all that blackness is going to cover up all his white supremacy. Yet the white supremacy leaks out of Joe Biden every freaking day, and you say you don't believe that he's a racist. Well, then again, you're entitled to your own belief, but maybe you don't know Joe Biden. Here I am. I'm a person who don't spend time with Joe Biden or anybody in the Senate. Yet I can see that brother oozing with uppitysm, white supremacy, and a failed ability to admit that he's wrong. But let's go ahead and listen to you.
I want to bring the conversation back to the broken criminal justice system that is disproportionately negatively impacting black and brown people all across this country today. Now, Senator Harris says she's proud of her record as a prosecutor and that she'll be a prosecutor president, but I'm deeply concerned about this record. There are too many examples to cite, but she put over 1,500 people in jail for marijuana violations and then laughed about it when she was asked if she ever smoked marijuana. She blocked evidence. She blocked evidence that would have freed.
Now that hurt. That stings. How do you come back from that? You put a lot of people in jail for smoking marijuana, but you laughed about smoking marijuana on the Breakfast Club. But let's continue to hear Tulsi Gabbard. Now, I've shown this video quite a few times. It's one of my favorite videos in this whole candidacy. That's why I call her the political grim reaper. Tulsi Gabbard is going to come after you on your record. She has a right to do that. If you're going to come after her, come after her on record, not these allegations. Come after her on the record.
An innocent man from death row until the courts forced her to do so. She kept people in prison beyond their sentences to use them as cheap labor for the state of California. And she fought to keep cash bail system in place that impacts poor people in the worst kind of way.
Thank you, Congresswoman. Senator Harris, your response.
Remember what this video is about. It's a series called What Killed the Kamala Campaign. This one is entitled Your Record and Your Failure to Defend It. Now, Tulsi Gabbard just went over her record as prosecutor. Not just as prosecutor, but district attorney of California. Not just as district attorney of San Francisco, but as the highest law enforcement officer in California, the attorney general position, and the things she's done under that position. And the things that she's doing now. She slayed her with a record. Joe Biden slayed her with a record. And her defense of a record is weak. Very weak. And if you're not able to defend your record very strongly, you sitting up here talking about you could take on Trump. A New Yorker with a big mouth that talk a lot of stuff but don't back it up. You sitting up here thinking that you, the California girl, can take over Trump, and you can't even defend your record. All you can talk about is what you did, and I did this, and I was great at this, and that. No, let's get back to the record. Because you saying you're great don't make you great. Your record make you great. Let's get back to your record. Okay, you refused to release 100,000 prisoners, and the judge had to come in and order to release them. You tried to keep these prisoners so they can go out there and fight those forest fires. And I'll say this for rich white people, so they can keep their rich property up in the woods in California next to the sequoia trees. You want all these black prisoners to, most of those houses were not black owned, but you want all these black prisoners, these Hispanic prisoners, some of them white, go out there and risk their lives, pennies on a dollar, to fight these forest fires when they could have been freed. And then here is Tulsi coming on the other end. So she got a left hook, Tulsi coming in with the right hook. She got the left hook from Obama, Tulsi coming with the right hook and gonna knock her out. On the record. See, people think, well, this caused her, and it's a tragedy, and it's a shame, and the black woman, and I don't want to hear that stuff. It's her record. And her failure to defend the record is one of the reasons that killed her campaign, and rightfully so. She came in here, she should have been staying focused on her Senate seat. She's trying to come in like Obama. She have no sense of urgency. She's only running because somebody probably propped her up as the female Obama, believing that she can go reinvent or recollect the Obama coalition. Let me keep going.
As the elected Attorney General of California,
There she go again.
I did the work of significantly reforming the criminal justice system of a state of 40 million people, which became a national model for the work that needs to be done. And I am proud of that work. And I am proud of making a decision to...
Still no answer for the question. All it is my position and I'm proud. My position and I'm proud. I was the elected Attorney General of California and I'm proud of my work. Still no answer to the question. Why did you do these things, Kamala Harris? Why? Answer the question.
Not just give fancy speeches or be in a legislative body and give speeches on the floor, but actually doing the work of being in the position to use the power that I had to reform a system that is badly in need of reform.
What work did you do, and why did you still make, no matter what work you did, why did you make these bad decisions as Attorney General? That's the question. That is the question Tulsi Gabbard asks you. Defend your record on these things. I want to hear from you. Let the American public hear from you, because they're going to go check you out. And your ability to stay in this race and move up in this race is based on your ability to defend your record. And was it the right thing to do or not the right thing to do? Answer the question. Stop talking about your position and how you're proud of the decisions you made, because that just makes you look more of a convict.
That is why we created initiatives that were about re-entering former offenders and getting them counseling. It is why, and because I know that criminal justice system is so broken, that I am an advocate for what we need to do to not only decriminalize but legalize marijuana in the United States.
I want to bring Congresswoman Gabbard back in. Your response.
The bottom line is, Senator Harris, when you are in a position to make a difference and an impact in these people's lives, you did not. And worse yet, in the case of those who were on death row, innocent people, you actually blocked evidence from being revealed that would have freed them until you were forced to do so. There is no excuse for that. And the people who suffered under your reign as prosecutor.
The record. She's going over a record, which is true. Defend your record. When somebody call you out, you're not a good debater. You're not a good debater. See, this is what get me, man. What the Democratic Party tries to do. This is what is turning people off from the Democratic Party. This is what makes people leave the Democratic Party and become independent. Sure, we're not dumb enough to go to the Republican Party. Real smart people don't leave one party and go to another dumb party. So if you think you did something smart by leaving the Democratic Party, going to the Republican Party, you just went from dumb to dumber. Candace Owen. And you people think that Kanye West, just because he said something about Trump, that he's a Republican. That don't mean he's a Republican. There's a lot of people who voted for Trump. I don't know why. You could just stay your butt home. Don't take responsibility of somebody else's vote. Ain't nobody blood on my hands. And I'm not going to be forced to have blood on my hands because somebody's in office. The only way you put, nobody, and you know, people always say, well, you not voting for one of the two mean you voted for the other. That is a Jedi mind trick. It's really a lie. No, you didn't get your base out to vote for you. That's your fault. That's not my fault. I don't like you. I don't want you president. I don't like him. I don't want them the president. I have the legal right to say, kiss both of my behinds. Each one of you can puck up one of your lips and put it on each cheek. I don't like you and I don't want you in that office. And you have a right to defend that and be proud of that. I am not responsible for either one of you are going to do it. If you voted for this person, you voted for that person, then you both be responsible for what did and did not happen, not me. This is America. You vote for whoever you want to vote for. And I'm not going to vote or shame you because of your decision. That's your personal decision. Just make sure you have a good enough reason where you can live with it. I ain't got to live with it. I'm not responsible for somebody else's vote. I'm only responsible for mine. And the way things are going right now, none of these candidates out here on both sides could care less about black issues. But yet they're going to need us in order to win. They're going to need us in order to win the primaries. They're going to need us in order to win in a general. But yet, as soon as they win, black people kiss my behind. Thank you. What you looking at me for a handout for? The fool, I just voted you in and I expect something in exchange for it. No, I'm not giving you nothing. Just make sure you're there for the when we go into the next 2 years when it comes to the Senate seats. And you vote them in, and we're going to need you for the next president, and they still haven't did nothing for you. That's why it's important to, you vote and then you got your hand out. No, you put your hand out and say, if you don't put nothing in my hand, forget my vote. Let me get back to Tulsi Gabbard. Tulsi Gabbard, she's doing what a debater does. The point of the debate is to challenge you on your record. It's not just to talk about what you're going to do for America, but it's to challenge each other on their record and challenge them on their ability to do what they say they're going to do for the American people. And she did that. Joe challenged Kamala Harris on her record. Tulsi Gabbard challenged Kamala Harris on her record. Kamala Harris, instead of defending her record, all she can say is, I was elected to this, and I was the second largest attorney general association, and I was in charge of the biggest this and the biggest that, and I did this and I did that. You never defend your record. And I'm proud of my record. So you're proud of something that you need to defend right now. You need to defend that mess you call a record. It's just as bad as Joe's record. The only time Joe Biden got any kind of glamour, any kind of glory, is when he was sitting there with his shades on and eating ice cream with Barack Obama. The whole time his policies in his history as a legislator were anti-black. Barack Obama rehabilitated Joe Biden and made him cool to black people. Once black people get a look at Joe Biden's record, they will be mad at Obama for picking this guy. It's like Obama picking Trump for VP. Or Obama picking George Wallace. Is it George Wallace? Ain't that the comedian? Picking Joe Biden is like picking Strom Thurmond. Imagine Obama picking Strom Thurmond. You're going to pick this white known racist who really calmed down his racism once he found out he had a black granddaughter. Let me keep going. I'm almost done with this.
Being revealed that would have freed them until you were forced to do so. There is no excuse for that. And the people who suffered under your reign as prosecutor, you owe them an apology.
Senator Harris.
Here she is. The glamazon herself. I say that because she looks glamorous up there. She all in white. She's beautiful. But I don't eat no pork. Slaying Kamala Harris. And Kamala Harris is so shamed. You can tell when somebody's shamed because they try to laugh that stuff off. She has no defense. Tulsi Gabbard said you need to defend your record and you need to apologize to those people. And Tulsi would do that to Hillary Clinton. What you did was wrong. You need to apologize for that. Shame on you. Just like me in my issue with Tulsi Gabbard. I said, Tulsi Gabbard, you need to not run from black people when they try to talk to you. You need to take some time out and really listen to them. It's better to do it that way instead of saying I don't have time. I know you're tired, and I know, but take the time out, spend time with your big. You stop everything you need to do and spend that quality time with your biggest constituent. It's not going to be just Hawaii now. It's not the people of Hawaii. Your biggest constituent in winning this election will be the black community. Instead of saying, well, I'm tired. I don't remember what she said, but Jamie Fowler got the video. But I don't have time right now. No, you need to make time. Make time for the black community, and the black community will make time for you. But here she is. She got her. And let's see if she's going to defend her record again. Let's see if she's going to apologize for it.
My entire career, I have been personally opposed to the death penalty, and that has never changed. And I dare anybody who is in a position to make that decision, to face the people I have faced, to say, I will not.
Okay, your whole entire time as a state legislator, whether it's on the local level or on a higher level, you say you've been against the death penalty. You send black and brown people to fight forest fires, devastating, aggressive forest fires for pennies on the dollar to save the home of wealthy people. I can say white because most of them white wealthy people. Yet you're not for the death penalty. That itself is a big death penalty because now you're able to have more people die than you will ever get on an electric chair or a gas chamber. You can kill off more criminals in a forest fire than you can ever do in an electric chair or a gas chamber or some kind of chemicals getting shot up in your veins. And you say you're not for the death penalty? Well, I can tell that Tulsi Gabbard won't be for the death penalty on this stage because she's about to kill you in this debate.
Not seek the death penalty. That is my background. That is my work. I am proud of it. I think
I'm proud of it. That is my work.
You can judge people by when they are under fire, and it's not about some fancy opinion on a stage, but when they're in the position to actually make a decision, what do they do? When I was in the position of having to decide whether or not to seek a death penalty on cases I prosecuted, I made a very difficult decision that was not popular to not seek the death penalty. History shows that, and I am proud of those decisions.
Senator Harris, thank you very much.
So once again, Kamala Harris still didn't defend her position like she should have defended her position. Once again, Kamala Harris goes back to the same old talking points. I'm proud of my record. This is my position. I was voted in this position. That makes me good. No, it doesn't make you good. It's not your position. It's what you did while you were in that position that determines whether you're going to get another position of a higher stellar or a higher stellar position. The bottom line is you are a horrible prosecutor. The bottom line is you questionably got your way to district attorney. As DA, you were more harder on the black and brown community than you were on that wealthy elite community of California. You were real close to Arnold Schwarzenegger at that time. Willie Brown hooked you up, and you hooked Willie Brown up too. I heard Montel too, but that's another story. So you moved your way up the ladder. You got to Attorney General because you were voted in. The people trusted you over the person that was running it. That doesn't mean a lot of time people put you in office, they still think only because they think you're a little bit better than the other person. That's the reason why Trump is in his office right now, because most of America countrywide thought Trump was better than Hillary Clinton. I don't know what they were thinking. Neither one of them was better than the other one in my book. Therefore, neither one of them got my vote. Now, let's get to you. Reason number one, what killed the Kamala Harris campaign? Her record. Her record killed her. Her record as prosecutor, her record as DA, her record as district attorney, DA, district attorney, and her record as attorney general was horrible. She literally took Joe's crime bill and made it reality. She turned the word, the scriptures always say the word became flesh, meaning the word of God came in the form of Jesus, that he was the embodiment of God's word, or some say he is the word of God. She is the word of Joe Biden. She is the embodiment of Joe Biden's crime bill. And she's running for office. And she don't want to answer the questions on her record. And her inability to answer the question, especially in a tough manner, that hurt her campaign. That was the stabbing. We're going to go to the bleeding soon, but that was the stabbing. Black community already knew about her record before Tulsi Gabbard even hit that mark. And we've been talking this on social media left and right. You got people like Professor Black Truth exposed that. You got people like the Black Channel with Jason Black exposed that. Tony Moore exposed that. Yvette Carnell. Heck, even Roland Martin knew that, but he didn't want to say nothing about that because he figured, oh, sister, we need to get this sorority, sweet, whatever they say. Get out of here with that stuff. American public don't care about your sorority, sister. I'm sorry. American public don't care about your fraternities, brother. They care about policies. So she could sweet, whatever they say. It ain't happening in the White House. Here's the deal, though. Ew, what did I ain't got no, my girl wasn't asking me where. Hey, baby, here's the no, I didn't have no, my girl wasn't in the back asking me where it was at. So, here's the deal. Though she made it to the debate stage, though she stepped down, there's various reasons why she had to step down. Various reasons. Court booking, you can get your panties out of the bunch. You can tell Rosario to get you from out of her panties. That's bunched up, okay? All right, you don't have to go there, man. You're worried, you're nervous, and you should be. The bottom line is this. The black community was not feeling Kamala Harris because the black community got stabbed in the back with Obama. We got this picture of a black man who probably can do something for black people and didn't. Yep, we understood that he was not really black, but he was the closest thing to black. Half white, half Kenyan. He has no heritage to this country for his birthright. He only has it because, I say he has it because of birthright, but he don't have no lineage to slaves. You try to push her as the same, but she is the same in a sense. She's not ADOS. I don't even consider her black. I consider her Indian. She's just as much Scott-Irish as she is black. White Scott-Irish. I see more of her white Scott-Irish than black. She's an interracial woman who they trying to pull over the black community as the next female Obama, who can pull the Obama coalition together and beat Trump. That's all this is. Let's pick her. Let's see how she do by sitting her on a committee. See if she can let's put her on a committee. See if she can drill Jeff Sessions and any other person we put before her. And sure enough, she drills them. She looks good. She looks good being on an old grandpa who can't remember things that Trump happened to put in the AG position. Oh, that make her look tough. Yeah, right. Grilling an old man don't make you tough. Yet, come out of this thing, she goes spends time in the Hamptons. She don't spend time in the black community that she devastated. She don't even spend time in her own community to make sure she can win that state. She dropped so low in the polling of her own state. That was another signal that it's time to step down from this. Now, I would like for her to stay in. Right now, I don't think nobody should be dropping out, contrary to what some people say. I think nobody should be dropping out until after the Iowa caucuses. You got to give people a chance. You got to give them a chance of where they stand after the first vote. Because in history, there's a lot of people who were doing very poorly before the Iowa caucuses. Obama, one of them. But the things that killed her campaign was a combination of a few things. First, her record being exposed on the stage and her inability to defend it, and her arrogance and talking about where I don't have to defend it because I was chosen, I was picked, and I did the hard work, and I'm proud of the horrible work that I did. It's not enough. That exposing between Joe Biden and Tulsi Gabbard on the stage in front of all of America started the slow death. The cut wound, the little teeny tiny cuts, the lacerations, the stabbings that happened prior to that, prior to Tulsi, prior to Joe Biden exposing that on stage, is what we in the black community were doing. We saw faking the fraud in a part-time broad axe Willie Brown, and we exposed her for what she is. We exposed her record of harming blacks in the community. We don't want to put up the video of her laughing about her new foreign power, and she had to write the letter with the badge on to send to all the parents that if you don't have your kids' butt in school, we come to get you. And she laughed when the girls say, girl, I was scared that you were going to, I told my kids you were going to throw me in jail if they don't show up for school. And she laughing about that. We exposed that. We exposed the fact that she has no children, so how can she understand what it's like to deal with children that's being pressured to join gangs during that time, and how they couldn't go to school. They had to, some of them wanted to stay home. Some of them didn't even want to come out the house. Not understanding the elements of what causes kids to do what they do because she's not a parent herself. We, the black community, exposed that. We exposed the simple fact that you didn't start taking up the mantle of a black woman until you got to Howard University. You lived your life in Canada as a East Indian woman like your mom, which is nothing wrong with that. Be who you are. But you didn't stop pushing I'm a sister girl until you got to Howard University and joined that sorority. Sweet. We exposed that. We exposed the relationship with Willie Brown and how it's allegedly she slept her way to the top of the program out of an episode of Scandal. We exposed that. Yeah, we talked about her white husband, and where do he stand when it comes to fight for black issues, because that's important. He's supposed to be, if he get elected, he would have been the first man married to a presidential woman was a white guy. So where is he going to stand when it comes to black issues? That was important to us, whether you like it or not. It wasn't important to who you were married to. It was important as where he stands. Is he going to push you and promote you to deal with black issues? We exposed that. We exposed the fact that that little plan that you touted out at the Essence Festival was not a plan to close the wealth gap. And we reiterated that the only thing that's going to close it is reparation. Don't give us no funky, easy access to loans, because that pretty much put the black community in debt. That you owe the black community money, and it's time for you to start paying up for it. You owe them. Your government owes them, and you did nothing else to try to defend that. And that brings me to part two, which I'm going to talk, which it brings me to part two of what killed Kamala Harris' campaign. That's going to be done on the next episode of the Rob Report, and that is entitled, I ain't just going to do anything for, you think I should do things just for black people? I'm not going to do anything for black people. No. Yet you did something for your Hindu heritage. You don't mind pushing policies to aid immigration, but you not just going to do just anything for black people. Nah. We'll talk about that on the next Rob Report.